Hey guys, welcome to an Arsenal special. We're talking about the transfer window that has just closed officially. Yes, we weren't able to sign any players for a few weeks now. However, the window has still been open outside of England and we have seen some players leave. Now, this is the squad that we had up until a couple of days ago. We're going to get rid of the players that have gone and talk about how I think we're going to be dealing with this, how we're going to be coping with certain players that have left, what the deals were, so if there's a loan or if it's an actual permanent transfer, whatever the case may be, this is a transfer roundup video, all things Arsenal. So this is going to change a lot. This is what I made a couple of weeks ago, and do you know what? I'm not going to lie, guys, although it's been, I think, arguably the best window we've had in a decade, easily, I'm a little bit unsure if we've done the right thing. It's difficult because a couple of the players that have gone, yes, you could say they are a bit deadwood-like. You know, they're not very important to the team, I guess. But what you do lose is squad depth. And I'm very, very concerned if we get some injuries in certain areas, we are going to be, very, very light indeed. So I guess, first of all, let's go through the squad and get rid of the players that have been sold this window over the last few days. The changes since, obviously, we already know that Ramsey and Czech have gone and those kind of guys. But let's go ahead and take out Monreal. He has gone. Apparently he wanted to go. Now, I thought when I saw this that it was a case of Emery was basically honest with him and said, we don't need you. We've got Tierney. We've got Klasnach. You are free to leave. But actually, apparently Monreal wanted to go last season. And Emery blocked the move because, well, we needed him. And we did not have a Tierney signing. So Monreal did the right thing. And what a guy. What a guy. I completely respect it. He stayed for the next season. And actually, although he wasn't fantastic last year, he came in clutch in some games. And he was Mr. Consistent. So I will personally miss Monreal. He's going to do very well back in Spain. He's back with his family. And that deal is, of course, permanent. And I believe something ridiculous like £250,000 was paid to us. 250k, I mean, it's hilarious. That doesn't even cover Ozil's wages for a week. But he was worth pretty much nothing. He's coming to the end of his contract and also he's, 34 soon. So, good bit of business by Arsenal to get him off the wages. But the fact that we kept him for an extra year was good. And I will miss him a lot. I really will. Now, the next player that we have gone ahead and sold is El Neni. Gone. He was one of the players we really, really did need to shift on. I'm a little bit surprised we maybe left it so late. But he has gone to Besiktas, and that is a loan with an option to buy for 18 million euros. I mean, if we actually get 18 million euros, whoo, it's a lot of money for El Neni. In my opinion, he's not worth that, but it is what it is, isn't it? That's the market today. If you want an El Neni, it's going to cost you around 20 million euros, which is a lot of money. Next on the list, Mycket Arya. Now, this is the one that concerns me just a little bit. I did not mean to delete Pepe as well. There we go. I think Mycket Arya, although he isn't what we need and he isn't what we expected when we did that god-awful swap deal with Manchester United, that has to go down as one of the worst swap deals in history, if not one of the worst transfers in history, involving two titans of the game, less so Arsenal, of course, but Manchester United taking Sanchez. He's been flogged off on loan to Italy, and now so has Mycket Arya. He's on loan at Roma this season, and if he plays 25 games this season, there is an obligation to buy. Now, I don't know the exact price. There are figures being thrown around, so I don't want to comment on that, but it is going to be a permanent transfer should he play 25 games. Otherwise, we could have him back next year, but I'm sure we will sell him. Now, this is why I'm a little bit unsure about it. Mycket Arya is a good player. There's no doubt in my mind. I know it hasn't quite worked out, and maybe he could have done a lot better. There was a couple of games where he was, I think, very, very good for us. I think he's done better at Arsenal than Sanchez has done at Manchester United, for example, and that says a lot because Sanchez, it was bad, wasn't it? But I think Mycket Arya still has something to offer. He's always played on the wing for us, which I'm not a fan of. He lacks pace. He's a creative player that sometimes his touch really lets him down. He's not the player that we saw at Dortmund. and before that. So, yes, fine. It's probably worth letting him go. But right now, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think this to me reeks of get him off the wages. We're not going to use him that much. We can make do without him. And it means we can go into the market in January and bring someone else in, i.e. a Zaha. Now, whether or not that's going to happen, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But it really does leave this right side, you can see my mouse, right? It leaves this right side a little bit lacking. And that's a little bit concerning to me, if I'm honest. So I think what this means is we obviously have Nelson and Saka. Even Smith Rowe can play on the wing. Hell, even Willock could. And Mesut Ozil can do a job out on the right. Martinelli as well. With Mkhitaryan leaving, it opens up a gap. If, for example, when we had Tottenham the other day, we were 2-2 and we brought on Mkhitaryan when maybe we should have been bringing on a Nelson, a Saka, someone that could have really ran down that left wing up against Sanchez, who was playing at right back, the Tottenham defender, and really done a good job down there, with a lot more pace. And that means, I think, for the rest of the season, can't believe that sub. What a stupid sub that was. The rest of the season, though, we can explore that option instead. Instead of going for a Mkhitaryan sub where you're not really going to get behind the defence with him, but you are going to get some creativity, we can then go with a more direct approach with the final 20 minutes and get someone like Nelson on, Martinelli, Saka, whoever it may be, that can actually dribble past a player and get behind them, because Mkhitaryan does not provide that. So what I'm expecting is maybe it's Saka. He's going to get a bit more of a chance, but it will be over on the right side because he's left-footed, and we already know that Pepe's come in and he's taken over that role of right-sided player that cuts in on his left foot. So maybe Saka is going to be given opportunities to do the same thing. And that, of course, means Martinelli will get more of a chance on that left side. That's where he played over in Brazil on the left wing. He's right-footed and he will do the opposite job. He'll cut in on his right foot, exactly how Nelson does. So I think it opens things up a little bit. We've got Martinelli, who will get more game time. And actually, I was really impressed with him at the start of the season. But Nelson is the guy who's going to be benefiting from Mkhitaryan leaving the most, because he plays on that left wing and that right wing very well. And I think that Nelson will be a very relieved man, because at the start of the season, he started at Newcastle. He probably thought, oh my God, I'm so glad I'm at Arsenal. I didn't need to get a loan. I'm going to play. And then he goes a few games without making it into the first team, not even making it as a sub. But now that Mkhitaryan's gone, I'm sure he's going to be a lot more relaxed about his role in this team. So, in terms of injuries as well, because it is going to be like having a new signing with Bellerin coming back. So, he reportedly will be playing in October. We are now at the beginning of September. He's going to have 4 weeks of training under his belt, and I think it's mid-October we should be expecting him to start for 30 minutes or so. So we can expect maybe a fully fit Bellerin at the beginning of November, which is very exciting. Although Maitland-Niles has done very, very well, there's no doubt in my mind that Bellerin is going to improve our team. Not just defensively, but going forward as well. Ainsley, you could say he's a little bit, he's less experienced, that's for sure. But he seems a little bit less decisive than Bellerin is, but equally as quick and strong. And I think defensively they're both pretty even. They're not great defensively, but they do offer a lot going forward. But over on the other side, of course, new signing Tierney reportedly said to a fan at the stadium when he took a picture with him that he will be fit in 2 weeks. He's already starting to do training with the first team and really start to get back into the swing of things. And he could start a game within a couple of weeks. He could be in the starting lineup. Of course, when players come back from long injuries, especially when there is a surgery involved, they can't just straight away do a 90-minute game. So I would expect Kolasinac to start a game with Tierney on the bench, and then we'll see maybe Kolasinac go forward and Tierney comes in. Or maybe even we'll play 3 centre-backs, because Tierney can do that role. Maybe he will play where Monreal has over the last few years, that left-sided centre-back. He's a little bit taller than Monreal and a bit more athletic, a bit quicker. But honestly, Tierney for me should be our priority. He should be left-back. Kolasinac did okay against Tottenham. He created a goal which was ruled offside, of course, but I do always worry with Kolasinac that we lack a little bit of presence in defence. Although he's a big guy and he's strong, he's caught up forward a lot. I think Tierney will improve us massively. But honestly, the one player that no one's really talking about is Holding. Now, I don't know where we are with Holding, because we've brought in David Luiz and he has started every game since Newcastle. We had, obviously, Chambers start against Newcastle. I think quite clearly our partnership at the moment is Socrates and David Luiz. When Holding is fit, does he come in ahead of David Luiz? Does he come in ahead of Socrates? I don't think he does just yet, but I would very much like to see him in the team as soon as he's fit, so we can get an idea of where he is, because when he did get injured, he was, I think, our best centre-back. So, looking forward to having him back as well. Ozil was on the bench against Tottenham, didn't quite make it into the first team. Surprise, surprise. Do you know what? There's an incredible stat. I think I'm right in saying this. When we played Newcastle away from home, there's been 6 of those games since we signed Mesut Ozil, and he's played them once. I mean, that is absolutely shocking. Having a player of that quality not play every game almost. I know you obviously can't play every game, but my God, he misses half his games, and it's really frustrating. But having him back, of course, is a good thing. And now that Mycket Arya's gone, if Mycket Arya was ever going to play down the middle, of course, Ozil will do that instead now that he's fit. But let's get on to the exciting discussion of this man right here, Mustafi. He's still here. I was sure we would sell him this summer, even if it was for half price. Apparently, in the last 48 hours or so before the end of the window, Juventus inquired because Chiellini's picked up an injury, he's going to be out for a while, and they thought Mustafi would be a good replacement. And do you know what I thought? I can't believe this. I actually thought this. He's going to be good for them. It's unbelievable, isn't it? I can't believe it. But Mustafi, I just have this feeling. Okay, now you might think I'm mad. There is a good player in there. Okay, there is a solid defender in there somewhere. We haven't seen it since the first 20 games he played at Arsenal. He's been a calamity ever since. We need to lose him. Of course, he's lacking confidence. But I guarantee you, absolutely guarantee you, if he went to Juventus, he would get in that team and actually do a very decent job while Chiellini is out. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Leave your comment down below. Do you agree with me? Do you have that feeling? Because Mustafi he's obviously a very, very poor player for Arsenal. It just hasn't worked out. And I was expecting him to leave. But for whatever reason, he didn't leave. We've still got him. And I don't know. I'm not upset about it. You know, I'm part of the Mustafi fan club. You know, and you guys who watch my streams or are in my Discord, you'll know I name it the Mustafi fan club. We all love a Mustafi. We love to talk about his failures, and you know the banter towards him is obviously harsh at times, but I'm equally as I'm at fault for this. You know, I've really bashed Mustafi over the last season or two, but quite honestly, I think it might be a good thing that we've got him. I mean, we've got Mavropanos, yes, but he's never fit. He's not ready for the Premier League just yet, I would say. Other than him, it's Chambers, David Luiz, and Socrates, and of course, Holding is still injured. So you just never know. Okay, I was talking at the start of this video about squad depth. It is important that we have these types of players, and he's very experienced, and he can probably do an okay job in a cup game should we need him to. Now, there's one last thing I want to talk about, and that is the transfer window in general. Because as an Arsenal fan, I have been frustrated over the last, well, it's easily 8-9 seasons with our transfer policy. Not only have we been slow, inadequate, all the words you can think of that would suggest we've been bad in the window, that's us. We have not recruited well. We've maybe made 4 or 5 signings in the last decade that I think have been truly very successful. Santi Cazorla comes to mind. Alexis definitely comes to mind. Now Guendouzi, that's certainly working out well. But one policy that's drove me mad is we hold on to players. Jenkinson, for example. I don't know how he made it so long. Wenger clearly was being blackmailed. Somehow he had pictures of his nudes or whatever. I think Jenkinson clearly said, look, if you release me or sell me, those nudes are going online, mate. I don't know how he survived so long, but we're finally doing these transfers that we've needed to do for so long. Jenkinson, gone. El Neni, gone. Mkhitaryan, gone. Monreal as well, gone. These are the players that need to be sold, and they are being sold, and it's a bit brutal, but I love it. I absolutely love it. It's about time that Arsenal showed some bloody balls, man. Just sell the players that we just don't need. Jack Wilshere, look, I'm a big fan of Jack Wilshere. When he's fit, he's a very good player when he's fit. But he never is fit, and we held on to him for years. paying him 100,000 or whatever it was every single week while he sat on the medical table, draining our resources. And yes, we always thought, oh, he'll come good, he'll make it through this injury, and then he won't get one for a while. He gets injured. Gone. Sold. As soon as Emery came in, he's gone. Now, it might not be just Emery, but I honestly think he has a huge influence on this new policy. But honestly, it's the board as well. Bringing in Edu has been fantastic. Don Raul has been fantastic since he joined. I'm so excited that we're selling players. And not only are we selling players, we're getting decent money for them as well. If you exclude Monreal and, of course, Ramsey and Cech, who... Cech doesn't count, he retired, but Aaron Ramsey is the biggest mistake we've made in years, and that is down to Arsene Wenger ultimately. Emery could not do anything about it. I mean, Ramsey would have been getting offers for the last 18 months before he left, and the money that he was getting proposed is too much to turn down. I can't imagine how much the sign-on fee was for Juventus. He must have banked 20 million, something stupid like that, and he's earning 300 odd K a week. Of course he was never going to stay. What was Emery meant to do? Offer him 150, 200, offer him Mesut Ozil's wage of 350. I doubt he would have even stayed for... Well, actually, he probably would have stayed for that. And I get that. But if you exclude those deals, since we've had a change in the board, since we've changed the manager, we've been able to shift out players. And I'm really, really excited by that. So, ultimately, this is my opinion. You may disagree, but this has been the best window we have had in a long time. With Pepe coming in, with Guendouzi last season coming in, we saw how good he was against Tottenham. He's got so much potential with Torreira last season as well. David Luiz coming in. I mean, it's 8 million for a very experienced defender, and it will help us for sure. And of course, Martinelli was a great signing. Tierney will be a fantastic signing. I have huge hope for our future with a couple more recruitments. Is that even a word I want to use? With a couple more recruits, I should say. 2 more signings. I honestly feel like this is a top 4 worthy squad. So what happens in January? Now that we've sold a couple more players, we freed up another 300, 400k per week on the wages. I mean, Mycket Arya was, on 180? Something stupid like that, 200k per week. So that's that gone. I honestly feel like we're in for a bit of a surprise in January. It wouldn't surprise me if maybe we already negotiated a deal, maybe with a Zaha or an Upamecano or whoever, but we couldn't quite do it financially because, of course, we blew the cash flow we had. The 45 million was the money we had available. We've, of course, done Pepe in instalments, Tierney in instalments. We've got Ceballos on loan. You know, little things like that to be able to bring these players in without spending the money up front. But maybe we knew we would sell a couple of these players, and therefore in January, when the market isn't so frantic, when other clubs don't think Arsenal are so desperate, we'll go in for a shock move. Maybe Zaha knows that we'll be coming back in January. He's just biding his time and his price will be lower. Maybe he's going to play a little bit worse. I'm not accusing him of doing that, of course, but I know for a fact that players will do that to drive their price down to get the move they want. And guess what number has become available? Number 7. Whether he'd be able to use it or not when he starts, because Mkhitaryan's already wore the shirt, I don't know how that works. I've got a feeling he might be okay. I think it's the Champions League and Europa League that gets a little bit dodgy with that. But the number 7 shirt has become available. We can bring in a number 7, a winger. Zaha would be brilliant, okay? And guess what other shirts become available over the last few weeks? Koscielny's number 6, and of course now El Neni's number 4. 2 defenders, okay? Saliba next season, give him number 6. Bring in Upamecano, give him number 4. Okay, January, mark my words, guys. Mark my words. I think we're going in for another player. I think at that time we'll be a little bit lacklustre in the league. We'll be maybe in 5th, something like that, maybe 4th. We'll be struggling with a couple of injuries, and we will make a big signing. I just have a feeling I might be disappointing myself by hyping it up, but do you know what? If it doesn't happen, then clearly we have a plan. We have a plan, and I'm really hoping this doesn't backfire on us. I hope that we don't regret letting Mkhitaryan go. Maybe Mustafi is someone that we're going to sell in January. I don't know, but I'm just so excited by this. And I cannot wait for the rest of the season. I'm honestly so excited for it. So hopefully you've enjoyed this roundup video, just discussing all things Arsenal. This is the current squad. I need to fix it. It looks a little bit off right now, having sold a couple of players. But the players that we've got, minus a few of them, I'm super happy with. If we can get rid of Mustafi and bring in Upamecano, Who else would I maybe get rid of? Maybe Xhaka, you know, bring in someone else maybe next year. Because, yeah, less said about Xhaka the better. But honestly, it's exciting times, guys. And thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you leave a like as well, guys. And I will see you tomorrow for a Newcastle FM episode.